Well, a lot of people really are talking about this Starbucks story today. The idea, enjoy your coffee but leave your gun at home. The CEO, Howard Schultz, says he'd like to see no guns in the store or in the outdoor seating areas.
But it didn't go so far as to outright ban guns in the Starbucks. Although, could the company do that if it wanted? Judge Andrew Napolitano is a Fox News senior judicial analyst and joins us now from Washington, D.C. Judge, this is an issue that we've been arguing about. You know, Josh Patch, Josh and I have been arguing about it the whole time.
It's our stage manager, for those that maybe like the judge that don't know Josh. But go ahead.
Starbucks can do this legally, can it not? It could even ban guns in its stores if it wanted to.
Well, yes, and Josh, of course, needs to read the history of the Second Amendment.
Among other things.
And I am with him on that issue. However, the Second Amendment only restrains the government from interfering with the right to keep and bear arms. It does not restrain private property owners from doing so. So just as Dagan and Connell, you could invite me to a garden party at either of your homes and say, keep your political mouth shut and come unarmed. And if I say things you don't want me to hear or show up armed, you can kick me out. Starbucks can do the same. But if you kick me out of your garden party, you'll lose a friend for a couple of minutes and I'll get over it. But if you kick me out of Starbucks, a company that has drawn a lot of gun rights activists, you may have a financial effect.
Right.
You will not have a legal effect because you could stop somebody from coming in there with a parakeet on their shoulder or a boa constrictor around their neck or a gun on their waist, but you're going to lose their business and the business of their friends and colleagues and supporters.
See, that's the interesting part about it. That's why I wondered why Howard Schultz, from that perspective, the business perspective, would even want to get involved in something like this. We've heard from people on Twitter today saying, oh, that's it, you've lost me as a customer, and that kind of thing that obviously turns those types of people off. However, it will be, and I wonder what other companies will do here. Will we see more of this? Is kind of like, is smoking the analogy? Is it kind of like smoking? Say, oh, no smoking in the store, so you got to go outside.
I think these things happen after tragedies, and of course, we all witnessed the tragedy of the Washington Naval Yard just 2 days ago. But Schultz, of course, is an astute businessman, and he might be conflicted between a lot of his sort of liberal customers on the West Coast, where Starbucks started, who don't want to have anything to do with guns, and a lot of his more conservative traditionalist customers who actually promote the fact that Starbucks and guns are perfect together. So he's sort of saying, well, I'd rather you didn't, but I'm not going to stop you from doing so because I want your business. My guess, he hopes this goes away because he's a businessman. He's not a politician. He may have his own political views, but his job is a return on investment for the shareholders.
But, Judge, it had to be a big of enough issue for some customers for Howard Schultz to come out and make this statement. That there must have been problems with at least some customers being a little nervous when they see another customer openly carrying a weapon in the stores.
I don't think customers would be nervous because the carrying of a weapon openly and notoriously in a Starbucks store wouldn't occur where we are. It wouldn't occur here in D.C. because that's not lawful, or in New York City. It's very difficult to get that kind of a license. But it would occur in states where the sight of a gun on someone's belt is commonplace, whether it's Starbucks or Walmart or Neiman Marcus. So I don't think that the location has anything to do with it. I think it's a political and emotional reaction to the tragedy of Monday, which in my view occurred because there were not enough guns on waists on the Naval Yard, because the government is stupid enough to take guns away from people who are best trained to use them. One of them, any of them, could have stopped this thing before it got out of hand as it did.
It's interesting to see if this is the start of some kind of corporate American debate we're going to have.
It really is.
That kind of thing.
Well, Judge, I'll say this. I come from a long family of gun owners, but when I see a guy openly carrying a Glock on the beach, I guess to defend himself from all the women in bikinis who are packing too, that throws me off a little bit.
Which I've seen, apparently.
I've seen at Virginia Beach.
Well, you can joke about it, but you never know when the tragedy is going to come about. The thought that a tragedy like we saw on Monday happening where it did and Fort Hood happening where it did is almost inconceivable until you realize the best trained firearms people in the country, soldiers and sailors, are not allowed to carry their guns because of an idiotic rule imposed by George H.W. Bush and picked up by Bill Clinton and every president since then.
All right, Judge, more on that, but as we work through this, and you're right, this is a tragedy from the other day, but thanks for this topic today in the Starbucks. We appreciate it.
Judge,
Pleasure,
thank you
guys.
so much. It's more fun when you're here next to us, but
Yeah.
it was great to see you nonetheless.